Okay folks, welcome aboard. Now it's a bit of travel information. We're going to make a short little stop over at the London Eye, pick up a few more passengers. A few of us might be leaving here. And once we leave here, we do make our way down to Tower Pier, which is our final destination. Now once we've got everyone together, we'll then give you a safety announcement and a bit of travel information about your journey. If anyone does require refreshments, we do have a bar downstairs that will be open from part of our journey. So now is your opportunity to make full use of the bar. It will be closing in about 10 minutes time. It does come in the form of life rafts, life rings and life jackets. Those are situated around the vessel and they are marked in the international green and cream stickers. In the unlikely event of an emergency, good luck to each and every one of you, okay? Or you'll be okay. Now, in the unlikely event of an emergency, instructions will be given, so there's no need to worry. Just sit back, relax and enjoy the trip. Now, on our trip we do pass a few points and places of interest. Now, unfortunately, there are no official tour guides on these boats. What the company supply you with is a pre-recorded automated commentary system, and it's broke. Now, instead of letting you sit here in silence and making a complaint, I don't mind pointing out a few places in the form of a live commentary. But I am not going to talk to myself, alright? I do enough of that indoors with my wife and kids. A show of hands if you would like me to do a live commentary. One person. How many people can understand me? That might be a better question. Okay, so would you rather me leave you in peace and quiet? Unfortunately, I just about speak English. If anyone would require a foreign language, downstairs we do have a QR code that you have to scan, and it will give you multi-language options. Alright, on the journey down, folks, I will try and point out a few places. Like I say, we're not guides, we are just a crew, so bear with me. We've just left the London Eye, which is built for British Airways back in the year 2000, and it stands 450 feet tall, holding 800 people in 32 glass capsules, and it will take 30 minutes for one round turn. And on a very clear day from the top of the London Eye, you can see as far as Windsor Castle, which is about 25 miles. And it used to cost just £5 for a trip on the Eye when it first opened. The same trip today will cost you £27. It's no longer owned by British Airways. It is owned by Merlin, the entertainment group. Now, as we come through the bridge, to the right we have Royal Festival Hall. That's the last remaining building from the Festival of Great Britain that was held here back in 1951. The acoustics in the building are said to be some of the finest in the world. And to perform inside here, stars such as Liza Minnelli, Elton John, Shirley Bassey and Pavarotti, just to name a few. The oldest thing on our journey is on the left, that stone obelisk on the embankment wall, Cleopatra's Needle, carved out in Egypt 3,500 years ago and given to the British by the Egyptians for Admiral Lord Nelson's victory over Napoleon at the Battle of the River Nile. It is one of a pair, and its twin stands in Central Park, New York. The bridge ahead of us is Waterloo Road Bridge. It's known affectionately throughout London as the Ladies' Bridge, built by women during the Second World War. And the bridge is built with a lady's touch, a very expensive self-cleaning Portland stone. So when it rains, this bridge receives a thorough wash. Look on the underside of the bridge, you can see how dirty it is compared to the outside, where it still looks as good as new. Now through the bridge and to the right, the concrete building with the illuminated writing. Believe it or not, this is our Royal National Theatre, voted one of the ugliest buildings on the bank of the River Thames. But never judge a book by its cover is the famous saying, and that certainly applies to the building. Inside of this building are three of the finest theatres, the largest of which is the 1,500-seater Olivier Theatre, and that was named after the actor and the founder of the theatre. On the river itself, ahead of us to the left, the white vessel with the yellow funnel, this is the Wellington, a former New Zealand sloop for the Royal Navy. Permanently moored on the river today as a floating livery hall for the Honourable Company of Master Mariners. To be a Master Mariner, you do have to captain a ship at sea. The president of this club is Prince William. Before that, it was his father, his grandfather, Prince Philip. And the stone archway just behind it on the left is Temple Arch, and that is a boundary line between two cities. It denotes we're now leaving the city of Westminster and we are just about to enter the city of London. The city of London is one of the smallest capital cities in the world, measuring just 1 square mile. And to the right, the red brick building is the Oxo building. It's here the small little beef stock cube that we use on our Sunday roast used to be manufactured. Now after the war, the building fell into disrepair, and like most things on the Thames today, it has now been turned into unaffordable housing. You've got a small row of shops at the bottom. There's 48 flats in the middle. You have a glass viewing gallery and then the very expensive Harvey Nichols restaurant. And coming into view now, a lovely view of the magnificent dome and cross of St Paul's Cathedral. This was designed by the famous architect Sir Christopher Wren. It took 35 years to build and 12 years of construction was the dome itself. The dome on St Paul's is the second largest unsupported cathedral dome, the largest being on St Peter's in Rome. St Paul's does stand 365 feet tall, the foundations are 3 feet deep, and buried in the crypt are some of this country's most famous national heroes, which does include the Iron Duke, the Duke of Wellington, Admiral Lord Nelson, and Sir Alexander Fleming, and the architect himself, Sir Christopher Wren. If you haven't been in St Paul's, I do recommend it. It's £21. You can go visit the crypts and then climb the 528 steps to the viewing platform that they have that's on top of the dome, where you do get views just as good as the London Eye. We're now approaching or passing through the Blackfriars group of bridges, and once we come through the bridges, to our right there's a brown brick building with a tall chimney, the old Bankside power station. Today that has been turned into the Tate Gallery for modern art, and it does view modern art exhibitions. Now it is a free art gallery to enter, as most of our art galleries, they are free here in London. And then connecting the two attractions, the bridge ahead of us is the Millennium Footbridge, built by Norman Foster as part of the Millennium celebrations. The bridge was opened on the 1st of June in the year 2000, but just 3 hours later it had to be closed because it was condemned unsafe. Now once a certain amount of people walked across the bridge, it started to wobble, and it took the nickname as the Wibbly Wobbly Bridge. It cost £5 million to stabilise this bridge, but according to Norman Foster in a live interview, he said there's nothing wrong, it's the way people walk here in London. Now ahead of us to the right, shortly coming into view, a white circular building with wooden beams and a thatched roof. Sam Wanamaker's replica of William Shakespeare's Globe Playhouse Theatre. Now it was his dream to produce a replica, and that took 20 years to get the project underway. Now sadly, he never saw the building complete. Eventually it was completed by his daughter, the actress Zoe Wanamaker. Now it was opened in 1997 and it is used in the traditional way as it would have been during the days of Shakespeare. So no lighting, there's no amplification, no sound effects, and if it rains you can get wet, and that's because it's an open-aired theatre, just like the original. Now the only difference between this and the original is that the original burned down during a performance. This one has had to be made fireproof, and they've built it as close to the original as possible. We now know that the original Globe Theatre stood through the bridge and to the right. You'll see the building that's under construction. When they was digging out the foundations for that building, they come across the old burnt out remains from the original Globe Theatre. pass through the bridge, in the corner of the next bridge is a very famous Thames side pub. It's called the Anchor at Bankside. Now this little pub was built in 1615, so it's over 400 years old. Now to use this little pub over the years, Samuel Pepys, the diarist, Dr. Johnson, William Shakespeare and me. It is a very, very nice pub, folks. Highly recommended. Now through the bridge and up to the right we have a tall glass building. That's the Shard at London Bridge. It's the tallest building in the country, standing 1,000 feet tall. Now there are 82 floors inside the Shard. It's offices, shops, bars and restaurants. There's a hotel called the Shangri-La and a viewing platform on the 72nd floor. And then the rest of it is made up of luxury apartments. The cheapest apartment inside the Shard is £30 million. And this next bridge, everybody knows this bridge, it's the world famous London Bridge. Several bridges have spanned the Thames at this point. The first ever London Bridge was built by the Romans in 43 AD. Now the most famous London Bridge is the one that fell down, and it gave rise to the nursery rhyme, London Bridge is falling down. The previous bridge to this one was sinking, and in 1968 it was bought by an American called Mr. McCulloch for £1 million. That bridge today stands in a man-made lake in Lake Havasu, spanning the Arizona desert. Now to the right we have the area known as London Bridge City. A self-contained city, all owned by a member of the Kuwaiti royal family. It has its own law courts, police force, fire brigade, even got its own private hospital here to our right, London Bridge Hospital. Now it is a private hospital and it specialises in heart attacks. It doesn't matter what you go in there for, when you receive the bill, you are guaranteed to have a heart attack. And the yellow brick building to our left is the old Billingsgate Fish Market, very famous for its fresh fish and the Cockney porters for their foul language. Now if you look up the word Billingsgate, it does mean a foul-mouthed person. And the large warship coming up to our right is the HMS Belfast, built in Belfast in 1938, launched in 1939. She saw action throughout the Second World War and was involved in chasing, shelling and sinking of the German ship, the Sharples. She weighs 11,500 tons, her main armament being 12 6-inch guns. Each one capable of firing a 100-weight shell 14 miles. And she fired the opening shots on D-Day, June the 6th, 1944. She last fired her guns in anger in 1952. The vessel alongside, this is a French minesweeper. She's here on a courtesy visit into London. She arrived here this afternoon, on this afternoon's high tide. She'll be here for a couple of days before going back out through Tower Bridge. Now to the left, London's most visited tourist attraction, the Tower of London. That started to be built in 1078 in the reign of William the Conqueror. The four turrets in the middle, this is the oldest part, it's called the Norman's Keep on a white tower. And in its time the building has been various things. A royal mint, a royal observatory, a royal palace, a prison and a zoo, but more commonly known as a place of imprisonment, torture and execution. And it is now home to the crowned jewels. Those are guarded by the king's beefeaters or buffeteers, a French word meaning servant to the crown. And ahead of us we have Tower Bridge, the gateway to London, opened on the 30th of June 1894. Designed by Sir John Wolfe Barry and built in the Gothic style to blend in with its surroundings, the Tower of London. Now, Tower Bridge is the only bridge of its kind, being a twin steel suspension and bascule bridge. The bascules, which are those centre parts that form the roadway, they can be raised like a double-sided drawbridge to let larger ships in and out of the upper wall of London. And there we go, folks, a nice side-on view of Tower Bridge. Now, folks, we are shortly going to make our way into our final stop, okay, Tower Pier. Everybody must leave us here. This boat does come out of service. So once you've taken your photos, just return back to your seats for me until we are safely moored alongside. You will be told when it is safe to leave. Now, as you leave the boat, please make sure you do take all your personal belongings, hats, coats, bags, husbands, wives, other people's husbands and wives, your boyfriends, your girlfriends, and if you brought them with you, please take your children, okay? It is very alarming how many children get left. Now, lastly, about the few words, we're not guides, we're not commentators, we are just a crew. Now, we do this on a voluntary basis, hopefully to make your trip that little bit more interesting, you never know, maybe enjoyable. Now, we do not charge for this, that's not fair, because it's painfully obvious some people have not understood a single word that I've said. So what we do, we simply leave it up to you. For those that have understood and enjoyed it, and if you would like to show a token of appreciation, you can do so. By the exit, as you leave, will be the ship's silver champagne bucket. And that, folks, is our old tip bucket. If you'd like to stick a couple of bob in our bucket, you are more than welcome. Of course, if you don't know what a couple of bob is, we do take 5, 10, 20 and 50 pound notes. Whatever goes in does go towards research. What we are now going to do is go research the pubs that we've passed, find out about these pubs and pass the information on to you. Thanks for listening. Hopefully you've all enjoyed yourself this evening and have a pleasant remainder to your day here at the Tower. Thank you. Thank you very much. Alright.
Thank you.
Hey, how did we get over there? You better stop right now.
That I to be like that. You're like people like come on their birthday.
Понятно. От моего никуда не ходила.
Now nobody can say I did not try.
Sí, sí, suerte.
준비자.
잘해.
준비자 말이야.
You think I was asleep with you?
No,
Blood, sugar level.
although I'm sure like it didn't look.
But we can take this ride wherever it goes. As long as you're with me, I feel at home. Can you tell me why? 'Cause I wanna know. As long as you're with me, oh. I got it bad, I just wanted love. I got it bad.